everybody. My name is Sylvain Rochon, and I'm getting people to expand their human experience using cutting-edge technology. And in this case, we're talking about medical technology, genetic engineering, and very nice research, actually. We'll be talking about today about reversing the aging process. I've talked about aging before as a bit of a disease that can be treated. And I think that's accurate. It's still accurate now, and a lot of laboratories are working on different ways to reverse aging, or at least treat it. And just to give you a little bit of a summary of what it is, when we age, it's our cells that start to muck up, start misbehaving, mutating. There's all sorts of junk that gets accumulated inside the cells, all of which contribute in making each cell less efficient or not work properly. And when each cell start misbehaving like that, each one are little engines that produce different things, that do different things, but they're part of tissues. The tissues don't work as well. They start having issues. And when tissues start having issues, like organs start having issues, organs have issues, means all systems have issues, and so on and so forth, until it just can't sustain itself, and at the end, after a certain while, we just die because the systems can't sustain the body anymore. So we start from misbehaviors at the cellular level that render the whole body eventually inoperable. Now, so if we could fix the issues that occur on the cellular level, keeping them young and healthy, just like you've heard of stem cells, which we do have in the body. These stem cells are immortal. They could divide forever. They don't age like other cells that are composed in all of our tissues. Why do the differentiated cells that are like our skin, our muscles, why do they age and become decrepit, while the stem cells we have in different places of our bodies remain okay and ageless, is still a bit of a mystery. But we know this is what happens. Now, we earlier in another blog and video, I was talking about a medication or treatment that would, based on the research, it's going to clinical trials. It started actually this year, where it essentially keeps the systems that prevent mutations on the genetic level from occurring. That system that we have, it prevents it from aging. It keeps it up and operating properly. So you're reducing the amount of cancer you can get, because cancer is mutations, bad mutations in the genes that make cells duplicate uncontrollably. So if we can, that treatment, would theoretically keep our immune system, essentially, if you will. It's not really the immune system, but all our cellular systems from getting mutation. Less mutations, less problems or degeneration of our genetic code, and we get to live longer. A new research that I describe in my blog, you can check it out, talks about how we now know how in mammals how to regenerate the telomeres. These are little bits of code at the tail end of our DNA, essentially, where we have the mechanisms that divide, that split the DNA to make new cells. Where it lands, it has to sit. If it gets too short, then the cells stop duplicating, and that's another cause of aging. The cells don't duplicate as much, or have difficulty doing it, or don't at all. So you don't have new young cells to replace the old ones that die off. Your tissues eventually start functioning properly, and eventually you die, among other things. So we've started looking at how to do that with a simple treatments. We've been treating progeria patients. These are young kids that have a genetic condition that makes them age very, very quickly, and they die of old age, essentially at the age of 15, more or less, because of some genes that are mutated when they're born, and that cause all sorts of aging mechanisms to kind of kick in that make them look old and age. So there seems to be it's kind of a surface that there's some kind of mechanism thanks to studying progeria, that causes aging. In their case, it's just accelerated by a factor of 5, 10, whatever. So this was very successful. These progeria patients that were treated with this treatment, which essentially is a little RNA codes that force the cells to generate RNA polymerase, telomerase. Sorry, not polymerase, telomerase, and that code is inside every cell. It generates the polymerase. The polymerase job is to extend the telomeres, and then the cells stay younger that way. Now, the third treatment, the second new treatment I want to bring up is very interesting. And scientists discovered, these are scientists in the States, they discovered that there's a small amount of stem cells in the hypothalamus, and these cells, they're supposed to be eternal, like they divide, because they are stem cells. They're supposed to keep dividing normally, and they don't age like other cells. They diminish in number over a lifespan until when an animal becomes very old. There's almost none of them, and that are left in the hypothalamus. These stem cells produce microRNA that circulate even in the bloodstream and regulate all sorts of genes all around the body. So as we get older, we have fewer and fewer of these microRNAs being produced, flowing to and regulating different genes that are supposed to be doing different things. And if these genes don't do what they're supposed to be doing, theoretically, well, things don't go as well, because we're supposed to activate different genes constantly in a reaction to the environment and different things that need to happen. And if these cells don't receive the microRNA that signals to express a certain genes, they don't express the gene, and maybe that protein produced by that gene is necessary at that point in time, but they don't get the signal, so a problem. Now, we don't really know why, at this point, these stem cells in the hypothalamus get reduced in population over time. But the research was showing that there's a direct correlation between the amount of stem cells you have in the hypothalamus and age symptoms. If you inject little mice that don't have any more of those cells with the actual stem cells in the hypothalamus, they start behaving young again. They start having, they start being healthier, more energetic, and all sorts of markers for aging diminish. You actually reverse aging. So there's a speculation, between the treatment for the progeria patients, which is an actual signal that seems to cause a systemic aging effect that is present in progeria patients, and we can help reverse that. But really, I want you to focus on the systemic aspect of progeria. There's an actual gene that's malfunctioning, causing aging, accelerated aging. So if we fix that gene, which we can using CRISPR complex, which we've mentioned many times, if we discover the healthy one, and sort of theoretically we should be able to fix that gene and cure these kids. So if there's this one gene that causes aging, accelerated aging, maybe there's some kind of mechanism in the body itself, perhaps even those stem cells in the hypothalamus that die mysteriously. Maybe there's a gene that actually makes these cells die off. I don't know. But there seems to be a systemic process that causes aging, or at least a lot of the symptoms of aging in the body. This is my theory. Researchers are very methodical. They don't want to pronounce on this, and I haven't seen anybody directly saying this. Even my friend at the Sense Research Foundation that specializes in aging told me that this is maybe just a little piece of the puzzle. We don't know. Basically, we don't know. There's more research to be done, but there seems to be systemic propagation of aging systems based on just a few little elements, like these stem cells in the hypothalamus, this gene that is erroneous for progeria patients, for example. So maybe we'll discover some few central components or genes that we can treat that will down the line filter out and keep systems awake and energetic and fully functional, 100% functionality, just like when we were 20, potentially. What we do know for sure is that these treatments that are being researched and being tested in animals and in clinical trials in some cases do seem to have a reversal of aging effect for different parts of the aging problem. And that means just treatments that can extend our lives, help people that are in bad shape live a longer life or at least more comfortable, until we figure out the rest about how it all is kind of connected together, because it does seem to be somewhat connected, maybe not all. The body is very complex, and with more research we'll be able to figure it out. No doubt in my mind, ladies and gentlemen, that we will figure out how aging happens and how to fix it within a number of years still, but potentially within my lifetime. Actually, there's a high probability it's going to be within my lifetime. And that is absolutely exciting for everybody, because longer, healthier, younger feeling lives, always good. Anyway, that's going to be it for now. I hope that you enjoyed this installment. My blog link is below. There's a whole bunch of links in there for further research. If you like what you see in this channel, well, just subscribe and follow me. Comment below if you have any comments. Go for it. That's what I live for. It's these discussions. And if you have further information, hey, link it below. I'm reading absolutely everything on this subject. Ciao for now. I'll have another blog for next week. Bye-bye.